So the 35-year-old debunker, let's take a detailed look into it. Let's do a bit of meme analysis. So what does he do? What does he say? Who is this? And you might even have some debunkers around you without you even knowing it, right? So this guy, this 35-year-old debunker, doesn't have to be 35-year-old. It can be you, by the way. He must debunk all the time. And what is debunking? Well, it's basically saying, finding out the truth, his truth. So the debunker is a huge blue pillar, and you might have heard about this, right? Red pill, blue pill, the matrix, and he is basically a huge blue pillar. He's stuck in the matrix. He doesn't know what's going on around him. He doesn't know how the world works, how it functions. So he believes wholly in the government, science, and the mainstream media. Everything they say is the truth, and everything that's not coming from them is false, are lies and are conspiracies. Everything, every media company that's not mainstream media is false, is fake news automatically. So he wants to be right all the time. So whenever you get into a conversation with a debunker, he will try to label all your arguments as false. Everything you say is false because he must prove you wrong. He has the urge to basically convince you that he's right all the time. He will get into an argument all the time about every little fucking detail. It's annoying as fuck. And I know about this because I had a friend like this. He just wanted to debunk the whole time. Everything I said was basically a lie in his eyes. And the whole time we would get into an argument about the smallest things, So that was the reason why we are not friends anymore. Let's take a look into things the debunker would say or would do. He would say that science is the only truth, that science is real. And you might say, well, yeah, science is real. I believe that everything science says is real. If you believe that, you're a fool. Because you do realize that oftentimes these researchers are just funded by the companies that are interested in them. Let me give you an example. Like in the 1950s, right? They tried to prove that cigarettes are healthy. So they just funded some researchers. And yes, a few weeks later, the researchers said that they found out that smoking was actually healthy for you. And they came out on the TV and they told everybody that, guys, smoking is actually healthy now. Well, everybody believed it because science is real, right? And there's so many examples of this, right? The debunker would say if it wasn't false, they wouldn't have banned it. So if it's banned, then it automatically means in his eyes that it is false information. So everything that is censored and banned is in his eyes false information. But let me explain to you. Well, our mainstream media and the government often censor certain groups or people because they form an opposition, because they want to make sure that there is no opposition, there is no other truth than their truth. So they just censor you. So the whole argument of, well, if it's banned, it's false, that's just bullshit, because a lot of things that are actually banned are truth. Well, Donald Trump got banned on Twitter. Does that mean that everything that man does is false and illegal? No. He would say things like spreading false information should be illegal. That's actually fucking bullshit. Everybody should have a voice. If you are against something like this, you are in favor of censorship, right? You are in favor that the government can censor certain groups of people because they have a certain viewpoint. And that doesn't mean that it's false information. How are you going to manage this, right? Spreading false information should be illegal. Who is going to decide what is false and what is not? Do you want to gather 500 debunkers together so they can fact check everything on the internet? No, we are a democracy, so that means that everybody should have a voice, even if that voice is bullshit in our eyes. But in the other eyes, it might not be bullshit. And who's gonna decide that what is false and what is true, right? That just means that the government is gonna, take advantage of that and just cancel everybody in their path who isn't aligned with their vision. So there's only one voice left. That's like deep, right? So he will believe that everything anyone with a degree tells him is the truth. Even if those, like, his field of expertise is like totally unrelated to the thing he is saying. Like, if this doctor has a degree and he says certain things, it must be the truth. But the debunker will believe anything anyone with a degree tells him. Even if his like field of expertise is totally unrelated. Like, if he has a degree, then it's basically the truth in his eyes. So just because you have a degree doesn't mean you speak the absolute truth. That's bullshit, because oftentimes people with a degree lie. They do not have like a monopoly on truth or something like this, right? And oftentimes people without a degree are like much smarter, like not all the time obviously, but there are instances, for example, Henry Ford. He didn't even have a degree, but he was like hugely successful. And I remember this, I ran into some debunker a year ago, and I just, at that moment, I wanted to start a business. I wanted to start a fitness business. So I told her, yeah, I want to start this business. And she told me, well, do you have a degree? And I told, no, I don't have a degree. So you cannot give people advice if you do not have a degree. Like, even if I did 10 years of fitness and have like watched thousands of videos, I cannot give people advice because I don't have a degree. I would say that's bullshit. The debunker doesn't Google the topic. He just Googles whatever you said plus debunk. So let me explain. So he doesn't Google the topic itself. He just writes whatever you said and he adds like debunk after it. Like, if you do that, you will find shit on everything, and you can basically contradict every single argument. If you write in Google or YouTube Hamza plus debunk, you will find shit on everything. You will find shit on everybody. So the debunker doesn't have time to read your article, but he spends 3 hours on Google to debunk what you said. Like, this is so funny. If you present him with the article that's like 5 minutes to read, he won't read it because he doesn't have the time. But then he just tries to Google to contradict what you've said. He tries to debunk you, and he spends like 3 hours trying to debunk you. It's like, so, and he will often say, that's a conspiracy theory. Everything you say is a conspiracy theory, and everything that's not in the mainstream media is also a conspiracy theory. Even if it's something that has been in the mainstream media like 5 years ago, but it's like kind of out now, is still in his eyes a conspiracy theory. I have had instances where I would talk with my friend about a certain thing that happened, for example, in the Middle East, and he would just tell me, well, that's a conspiracy theory, even if that thing has actually been in the mainstream media. So that was the debunker. Let me know what you think, and if you have any debunker friends in your family, like, share your stories, because it's so annoying.